What's up, my babies? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're here at Hybrid Performance Method, and again, I'm gonna take you guys through a lower body workout today. The focus of this workout is gonna be speed and power, focusing on the hinge. So the main movement today that we're gonna be doing is a trap bar deadlift, and then we're gonna accessorize it with several 4 or 5 exercises for your hips, so meaning your glutes, your hamstrings, and your back. So let's get to it. So personally, I like using a trap bar deadlift that has high handles because it allows me to be in a better position, especially if I'm working on speed and power, which is gonna be the focus of the session. So ultimately, you wanna pick a weight around 60 to 70% of your max that you can move fluently for the amount of reps that are gonna be prescribed. In this case, we're gonna be doing sets of 5 repetitions. So something that is challenging, but at the same time that you can move with a lot of speed, because that's what we're gonna be focusing on. So again, first movement is just gonna be a trap bar deadlift. Should probably put weights on it. So before we jump into the superset, which is gonna be trap bar deadlift superset with broad jumps, we're just gonna warm up the trap bar deadlift to the amount of weight that we wanna do for the session. So like I said, 60-70%, or if you don't know what your 1 rep max trap bar deadlift is, which I don't either, just go by feel, something that you can move for those 5 reps with appropriate speed. As far as rest in between sets goes, you wanna make sure that you're fully recovered in between sets so that you could actually tap in to the energy system that is required for you to exert the most amount of power and speed that you possibly can. So this is gonna be in the range of anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes of rest to make sure that you're ready to go for the next set. So don't rush this workout, especially this first part with the compound movement. You wanna make sure that the exercise that you're doing is actually doing what it's supposed to. Okay, so this is likely gonna be my top set of 5 on the trap bar deadlift. So what we're gonna do is, as soon as we're done doing our last rep of trap bar deadlift, we're gonna go into our broad jumps. So the goal with the broad jumps is obviously to jump as far as you can, but the main thing to take into consideration is that explosive hip portion. So a lot of people, when they do broad jumps, they actually stay in a flexed hip position, and that's not what we want, so they jump like this. What you really wanna do is reach full extension of the hips so that we could actually put into function the strength that we were working on in the trap bar deadlift, which was, hip extension. We were working on our glutes and our hamstrings to extend our hips with power and strength. Now we're actually applying it to what those muscles are actually intended to do in function. So when you do the broad jump, think about it fully extending your hips at the top to get as much length as possible. You're gonna go like this. And for this, we're gonna do bounding broad jumps, so working on our reactive speed. Spicy. If you don't have a lot of space in your gym to do the broad jumps, what you can do is in place vertical jumps or high jumps. So same thing, trying to jump as high as you can in one spot. First exercise that we're gonna do is gonna be a dumbbell toes elevated RDL. We're actually gonna put something in between our legs so we can emphasize engaging our adductors in the movement. The adductor is a muscle group that tends to be neglected during leg day, but it's a muscle that actually contributes to performance significantly. The Adductor Magnus is the muscle group that is the most active at the very bottom of a squat because it's one of the prime hip extensors. So it's a muscle like any other that needs to be trained, not only for the purpose of performance, but also for the purpose of overall health and longevity. So anything that you have that you can put in between your legs is just to serve as a tactile cue for when you're doing the movement, as a reminder to squeeze your thighs together. So when we do the Dumbbell RDL, as opposed to a regular barbell RDL, in which we're essentially trying to make the lift as efficient as possible by keeping that barbell as close to our center of mass as we possibly can, in the Dumbbell RDL, we're gonna take a slightly different approach, where we're gonna keep the load of or the weight is gonna be the dumbbells. You wanna have that further away from your center of mass, which is gonna be centered around the fulcrum on your sacrum. You wanna choose a plate or any sort of surface that allows you to elevate your toes about 2 inches. I find that this allows me to get a deeper stretch on the hamstrings and moreover, target them more efficiently. As far as the amount of weight that you're lifting, just pick something that you can do for 8 repetitions fairly comfortably. For this 2 exercises that we're gonna be doing, we're gonna do 4 rounds. So it's gonna be 4 rounds of 8 dumbbell toes elevated RDLs and 16 med bull rotational slams. We're gonna do one more circuit and then we're gonna finish up with some core strengthening drills. So the next circuit is actually gonna be 3 different exercises. We're gonna do a banded kettlebell swing, a Russian swing, so just until eye level. Again, focusing on that explosive strength coming from the hips, trying to move that kettlebell as fast as we can. Then we're gonna do Nordic hamstring curls, and we're gonna finish with a front-loaded walking lunge. So let's talk about first the execution of the exercises. For the banded kettlebell swing, you can choose a medium strength band. I chose this purple one. I don't really know exactly how many pounds of pressure it has or it provides, but what you wanna do, you wanna open your legs at about slightly wider than hip width apart. Step on the band really well. And from here, the most important part, most common mistake I see when people do a kettlebell swing is that they squat when they're gonna do the movement. And you just gotta remember that the kettlebell swing is a hinge movement, so that means that most of the motion needs to be coming from the hip. So it's more similar really to an RDL, kind of what we were doing back there, than it is to a squat. So the kettlebell at all points in time should be really close to your crotch area. So yeah, you wanna bend your knees a little bit and you wanna lean your torso forward, but you don't wanna bend your knees. So you always wanna keep your knees soft, not fully extended, but also not bent, just soft, not locked out. So from there, remember just to keep the kettlebell close to your groin, and then just focus on that explosive hip extension, really emphasizing squeezing the glutes and extending the hips. And then the final exercise is gonna be a front-loaded walking lunge with posterior expansion. So you really wanna hold snug onto whatever you're holding. It could be a sandbag, it could be a med ball, it could be your partner, your dog, whatever it is that you have at hand. But really make sure that you're rounding your upper back and breathing into whatever it is that you're holding to expand your rib cage and your diaphragm. So from here, okay, so for this movement, we're gonna do also 8 reps. Pointers, just make sure that your hips are staying extended for the entire range of motion. What you don't want to do is to bend your hips like this and then bend the knees and then extend. You essentially want to think about yourself as kind of a board, a stiff board, and stay in this exact same position from start to finish of the rep. So you're gonna be here, go as low as you feel comfortable, and back up. If this is too challenging for you, you can also grab a PVC pipe to assist you on the way back. All right, so this last superset is gonna be 2 core exercises. The first one is gonna be a stagger stance cable crunch. And the second one is gonna be a side plank. So we're gonna hold a side plank 30 seconds on each side, and we're gonna do 15 reps per side of this exercise. So when I say staggered stance, kneeling, cable crunch. So oftentimes people do it like this, but if you put your one knee slightly in front of the other, then you can bias one oblique side more than the other. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna bend your elbows, you're gonna put your hands on your temples, stagger your knees. I like putting my toes on the ground, and from there, you wanna keep your hips stacked on the same position. Try not to lean too much to one side and the other. And from there, you're gonna crunch on a diagonal, trying to get opposite elbow to opposite knee. And halfway through, you don't have to hyperextend your back. You can keep it in a slightly bent position. So from there, you're gonna go here. All right, that was all for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this workout. It's a super solid one. Explosive, speed, power, hypertrophy for your lower body. You're welcome. You likely are not gonna be able to walk tomorrow or the next day because likely you don't do this type of workouts, which is a good thing. Okay. If you like this type of workouts, then you might be interested in knowing that we're releasing a new program called Hybrid Athlete that is basically this same exact scheme. So like all of our hybrid programs, this program is going to be centered or have a strength backbone component, really big component to it, but it's going to be catered more towards function and performance. So how do we take that strength that we've been building and that muscle hypertrophy that we've been building and turn it into something applicable to you running faster, jumping higher, punching harder, throwing faster, whatever that might be. So it's a extremely well thought of and well-rounded program that will not only make you look better naked, stronger, but also make you perform better. And it's centered around the principles that I've personally been training and especially with my boxing, and the way that I've been able to maintain a muscular physique even though I'm doing a ton of cardio, and also maintain a good level of strength. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.